VonAllen Sports.
You look at what Matt Cassel did.
I have heard for years about the Matt Cassel stepped in for Tom Brady.
We all hate the Patriots.
There's an institutional arrogance.
Tom Brady would be a bum in short.
I hate Tom Brady.
No, that's not good enough.
Deflated football. Lance Armstrong without the bicycle.
What?
Me and Matt Cassel just fucked you up, dog.
Okay. This is another one of my favorite arguments against Brady, back when Manning was injured. The reason I like it so much is because the people who believe this really think they've got a brilliant argument. And then idiots repeat the same thing because they heard it on a talk show or on ESPN, and then suddenly it becomes the go-to response for them. So let's get started and see if the 2008 Matt Cassel season proves that Brady isn't needed in New England and that Peyton is better because of the results of their teams when they were injured. The Colts were terrible without Manning, simply because they tanked the season to get Andrew Luck and knew there would be a coaching change coming. But on the Patriots side of things, it was a massively different situation. New England wasn't changing, and they certainly weren't going to tank. When you do that, you lose the momentum of winning, and then you lose that winning culture that you've worked so hard to build. They certainly weren't going to allow Brady's injury to disrupt them being competitive. So they made sure they had a plan B. The Patriots still played hard despite losing their leader. That's a good thing, right? The difference from the amount of games the Colts won from the year Manning played to the year he didn't is nearly the same as going from Brady to Cassel. Watch. 2007, Brady goes 18-1. 2008, Cassel goes 11-5. That's a 7-win drop. That's a lot. Now for the Colts. In 2010, Peyton Manning goes 10-6. In 2011, various incompetent Colts quarterbacks, they go 2-14. That's an 8-game drop. So, side by side, there's not much difference, is there? But when you think past your own hate for Brady and you look into the reality of it, you see there's almost no difference. But when you say a team went 11-5, well, yeah, 11-5 would be good for most mediocre teams in the league. But for championship teams, teams that are only happy with finishing in the Super Bowl, going to the Super Bowl is all that matters to them. And 11-5, well, but the rest of those teams, yeah, 11-5 sounds great. So it sounds impressive, you know, but it really isn't. And why? A 16-0 undefeated team is an elite team. It doesn't even get better than that. Therefore, losing even a quarterback of Brady's caliber, it's perfectly acceptable that a competent backup could get you 11 wins, even if you didn't get into the playoffs. A 16-0 team shattering the record books versus a team that couldn't even win the AFC East the very next season is a huge step down. This is the difference between Brady and Cassel. In 2008, the Patriots had the easiest schedule in the Brady-Belichick era. However, their 5 losses were, they were all against the good teams that year. They were able to get over on the bad teams, sure, but the good teams, they couldn't even get it done. The difference maker? Tom Brady. If Brady isn't hurt, it's almost automatic to think they would have gone 16-0 again. Certainly with that schedule. But let's look at Matt Cassel. People talk about him like he's Matt Leinart or something like that. Don't insult the man. Matt sat behind Tom for a while. He watched and learned. He studied Brady's habits, his methods, his mechanics. Cassel, that next year, when Brady came back, Cassel went on to make a Pro Bowl with the Kansas City Chiefs. So don't act like he's some crappy quarterback. He was tons better than the backups who ran the Colts in 2011. Okay, now, the Manning-led 10-6 team turning around and going 2-14 isn't that surprising because a 10-6 team dynamic isn't elite to begin with. The drop here is perfectly natural and acceptable. Additionally, the Colts started some of the worst quarterbacks possible, like an over-the-hill Collins, a guy named Painter, who I think was probably an actual painter, not a quarterback, but can't remember. I do remember he had a really epic haircut, though. Let's also not forget that a team starting the same guy all season long is more beneficial than having several rotating quarterbacks all season. A chemistry is built with the same quarterback throughout the year. But the largest, the most glaring point is this. The Colts were utilizing the Suck for Luck campaign. I'm sure you all remember that. A brief explanation of what that is. For all you young people out there, in 2011, many teams were wanting to draft either Andrew Luck or RG3. But in order to achieve this, they had to be terrible in order to get the first pick overall. In the case of the Colts, they were actually wanting to move on from Peyton Manning. They felt his injury meant his career's probably on its way down, and with Manning being injured, it was the perfect opportunity and excuse they needed to justify getting rid of one of the greatest quarterbacks in NFL history and didn't have to deal with any kind of real huge, massive PR nightmare and fan backlash. So the Colts liked the prospect of the next John Elway for 15 more years over an injured and aging all-time great. They fielded the worst quarterbacks they possibly could, and they sucked badly. They sucked on purpose. And they didn't even try to be competitive. Did you watch any games from that year? It was utterly pathetic. Further points to argue about them tanking on purpose would be that after they drafted Andrew Luck, they suddenly had a record of, you guessed it, 11-5. So, let me get this straight. Andrew Luck, a rookie quarterback who's never been in the system, playing with a bunch of guys who were bitter that their leader Manning was cast aside, he manages to take the same team that Manning went 10-6 with, the team that just went 2-10, and he gets them to an even better record. A better record than Manning, and on top of all that, they made the playoffs. The 11-5 Cassel Patriots lost their own division. You know, that division that everyone says is the worst. The AFC East is really the AFC least. So what does this all mean? Does it mean that Andrew Luck is the greatest rookie quarterback of all time? You know, because Manning's rookie season wasn't even very good. Does it mean that Peyton Manning wasn't really needed? Just as long as they were realistically trying to win games and at least had a competent quarterback. But what it does show is that if you use the Cassel argument as a way to dog Brady, then you have to understand that you were saying the same about Peyton Manning. So you can't directly compare Manning's importance to Brady's just by looking at the Pats doing better than what the Colts did when they lost their quarterback. Okay, this right here, directly from the horse's mouth, this is Belichick. He is referring to the Kansas City game, first week of the season in 2008. He got injured, it happened before halftime. This is why he's referring to that.
And let's set the tempo early in the game, all right? Like we didn't do last year. Go out there and around for a quarter against Kansas City and then see how it's going, and it's the end of the first quarter and say, oh, gee, it looks like the regular season started.
So this is what happens when you take your sweet ass time trying to get ready for the season and you say, oh, well, you know, I'm just getting warmed up. Yeah, when you just get warmed up, you lose your quarterback. That's from Bill Belichick right there, telling you exactly what's up. To conclude, both Brady and Manning were vastly important to their teams. This was only a point to defend Brady. The truth is, no team can afford to lose a guy like Manning and Brady without blowback. So stop using Matt Cassel as your point against Brady. It's idiotic.
Did Peyton come?
He was out here earlier, yeah. He was right there.
Hey, the guy. How you doing, man? How you feeling? Good luck, dude. Hanging in there.
Hanging in there?
Good, yeah.
How's little boy and girl?
Awesome.
Pretty awesome, huh? Only gets better.
How you doing?
Good.
All right.
Decent report the other day, and just
Good.
I can do a little more now. You know,
Good.
a little more freedom. I kind of had reins on me for 3 months, so
Yeah.
I've been a good patient. You know, I've been following the orders. You know, not trying to do too much.
I bet you've been great.
You know, exactly. I've really changed.
Hi, Tom.
Hi, Gam. How are you?
Brady, I knew it. I knew there was something about you, Ruth.
Hey, what's up, Peyton?
Hey, Tom, what's up?
Grandma, I used to play football with Peyton.
Oh, isn't that wonderful? Did you win 5 Super Bowls, too?
Shut up, Ruth.
VonAllen Sports.
I just want you to know I think of you like a brother who lost to my other brother all the time.